Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just, this DC stuff. There's so much stuff going on as of late. So yeah, another day, another saga in this DC news cycle. Just keeps going. And there has been a surprising amount of drops over the past couple of days spread over a few different projects that either give us updates on what is coming our way, as well as some stakes for current projects heading into the future of James Gunn's DC universe. So yeah, a decent amount to go over, but of course, let me know your various opinions in the comment section down below over these various things. I'm always curious to read what, I guess, different people are thinking. So first up, Superman, or specifically Superman Legacy. Now, we know this is coming our way at the midway point of 2025, so it's still over like 2 years away roughly, but we're consistently getting more updates on this on a day-by-day basis. Now, the first thing with this is that there was some like back and forth on Twitter between James Gunn and just users on Twitter, DC fans and stuff like that. And James did reveal that he was working on Creature Commandos, the animated project that was announced in that first chapter that was announced like a few weeks back, as well as Superman Legacy, before he took over as head of DC. So of course, this ignited some confusion on whether it was meant to be Man of Steel 2 or not, like it was always Superman Legacy. With James saying they were always separate projects and that he was hired to write the movie over 6 months ago, with it being insinuated sort of that Henry Cavill wasn't a part of this project when James was, conceptualizing it. Now, this did bring some heat, towards James Gunn from whether you want to call them supporters of Henry Cavill's Superman or just general toxic people online, with them, of course, blaming James Gunn for Henry Cavill no longer being Superman, though James Gunn has addressed this in the past couple of weeks that Henry Cavill was never hired, so you can't be fired if you're never hired. But the thing with this is that it's not Henry Cavill's fault either. If anything, it's someone like The Rock's fault who pushed for Henry Cavill to make that throwaway cameo at the end of Black Adam, and it seemed this was to stir up interest in Cavill again, to push for more stuff for his character, but also to elevate The Rock's presence in DC, and it's been put out there that he was trying to get in the position that James Gunn is in now. They're like a controller, at least in a stake or part of the DC universe, to make, a Black Adam verse, if you want to call it. And unfortunately for The Rock, that plan fell on its face, and his, DC career, if you want to put it, fell on its face as well. Now, I feel bad for Henry Cavill. He was used as like a sacrificial pawn in this like not overly well thought through or strategized game of chess by The Rock and some other players as well, like the management team and stuff like that. But the most important thing with this is that it's not James Gunn's fault either. It's neither. It's other people's. But in regards to the future and Superman Legacy specifically, James Gunn did say that he is very far into the writing process for the film, and he was asked on Twitter about casting announcements for the projects he is kicking off his DCU with, and he said yes to someone asking about whether major casting announcements would be on our way in the next 6 months, which most likely means at San Diego Comic-Con, he's going to do a presentation, announce maybe a few more projects, but also casting for the projects that were announced a few weeks back. Now, we might not get casting for all of them, but you'd expect to get like casting for Superman, the cast for Creature Commandos, because we know that the people doing the voices are also going to do the live action for the most part, unless it's like a CGI creature or something like that. But even then, it still might be the case. Who knows? And then even stuff for like Booster Gold, maybe even Batman if they want to do that. So maybe not every single announcement, will be made for the casting for those Chapter 1 things, but at least a decent amount, and maybe the ones that people really want. And the final, hashtag James Gunn Twitter feed update. I don't know what we're going to call that, because it's pretty much what this is for the most part. James Gunn was asked about Wonder Woman. Now, someone was asking if Wonder Woman has a future in his plans, which James replied to with yes, which he's already sort of said before. But then he was also asked, is she going to be abandoned for a long time? So like not be used in the films for a long time? And he replied no. So yeah, the big question around this, is it going to be Gal Gadot, or is it going to be someone completely different? Like that's the big question around this whole thing, and that's the wait and see, because no one's really giving any inklings. Like you haven't really seen anything from Gal Gadot voicing congratulations to James Gunn and Peter Safran coming in, while you saw someone like Jason Momoa do it, and we know he's probably going to continue, even if he doesn't continue as Aquaman, but he'll continue as another character. So who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. Now, next up is just a minor update on the sequel to The Batman, which is entitled The Batman Part 2. I mean, pretty simple. Now, this is coming from Grace Randolph. You can debate from yourself whether it's trustworthy or not. To me, she's like 50-50, so I'm fine with talking about this, though other sources are backing her up. And she says that the film will start filming in November, and it should start pre-production soon, which would mean casting soon as well. This isn't overly surprising. I mean, I think a lot of people are predicting like either right at the end of this year, like around November, December, or early next year, like January, February. So this falls in line where people are predicting, so not that much of a surprise. interested to see what they do in this movie, who's the villain, stuff like that. I like the first Batman. Didn't think it was like better than Dark Knight. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I'm excited to see where Matt Reeves takes this universe alongside the Penguin spin-off, which we know starts filming in like a week or two or something like that. Now, the second final thing to talk about in this video is probably the biggest drama alert, if you want to put it, for this video, and that is whatever the hell is going on with Aquaman 2 or Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. Now, there hadn't really been that much out there concerning stuff coming out from test screenings and all that when it came to this film up until the past day or so. So multiple outlets are reporting that people walked out during the latest test screenings, which is a super uncommon thing. Like, it's fair enough if people give them bad test results and stuff like that. You see that all the time, but people walking out, that's pretty crazy. Now, it seems that, well, I don't know if this is actually what's being said from people from the test screenings, but I guess it might just be assumptions that it might be like a mixture of not only the quality of the film, but maybe it also being a bit too long. Now, the first Aquaman movie was like 2.5 hours. Remember, it went for a bit. So I don't know if this movie means like a 3-hour runtime and just doesn't deserve to be 3 hours or something like that. I'm not too sure, but other people are hearing that it sounds like it went through some significant plot changes. Now, it was noted by KC Walsh that apparently it's not anything DCU related, but then there's other things coming out that the plot was changed and worked around significantly since the last time it tested, which was prior to James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over. So what were the changes then? If they weren't DCU related, then why is everything getting mixed around? Like, apparently what's being said is that the villains have different like storylines now and the editing doesn't work because of it. So I don't know what's going on. I was really looking forward to this because I really like the first Aquaman. I think it's probably like a top 5 DC like EU, like in this continuity and stuff. So I'm sort of concerned about that. So yeah, my whole curiosity around this is what the hell changed from the previous test screenings where you didn't really hear anything negative coming out of them for the most part to now where people are walking out of the test screenings. Like, what the hell happened? And the last thing for this video actually concerns the most recent or upcoming film for DC. That is, of course, Shazam 2 or Shazam Fury of the Gods. And Zachary Levi, who of course plays Shazam, did a preview with Den of Geek and spoke about a few different things, including his fate as an actor in this DC stuff and the fate of Shazam as a character going forward and how important the performance of this upcoming film will play into that. As fate would have it, we have two new excellent leaders in James Gunn and Peter Safran. They're both friends of mine who I trust very deeply, and I know that they are concocting really cool plans. I don't know what they are, but I will trust wherever they want to take us. There's definitely little ideas here and there that I brought up in the past. I'm sure I'm going to sit down with James and Peter soon enough, and we'll talk about what we think the trajectory of all this will be. The success of the second movie will determine a lot. It's just a matter of just trying to figure out what we can do to keep making good material that includes Shazam, staying true to the character, and doing right by our fan base and all the people who have supported the comic and the character for coming up on a century. There are all the manner of different things that can be done. Now, in regards to this, I love the first Shazam. I'm not the biggest fan of what the sequel story is going to be because I was really hoping they'd just continue on what the end of the first one, like the end credit scene tease with Mr. Mind, Dr. Savannah. Though I'm probably sure this movie will touch upon that. You'd have to think it'd be weird if it didn't. The trailers still look good for the film. Like I was saying, I'm still looking forward to seeing it. It's just not what I thought the film would be. But it's got a bigger budget. I know that they are advertising the hell out of this movie much more than they did the first one. I can just tell from what they're doing down here in Australia. But they're playing like a lot of TV spots like during like NFL and NBA and stuff like that. So they're spending much more money on advertising at the very least than they did in the first one. And then obviously it has a bigger budget. So I'm very curious to see how it performs because it can't make the same money than the first one did. The first one made profit. If it makes the same money as the first one this time around, it'll be a bomb. So fingers crossed. I want it to do well. I like Zachary Levi in the role and I'd like to see him continue as Shazam, but I don't know. I think this is going to be, especially with how Warner Brothers is now, very cutthroat. So I'm concerned, but I'm also hopeful at the same time. So let's see how it goes. If you're thinking about going and seeing Shazam, you should do it. Go do it. You'll have a good time. But yeah, that's all to go over in today's video. If you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like and show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over. Always curious to read what everyone's thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.